Hello, everyone, and welcome to Hustle and Heart Podcast, where real life meets real hustle, and we share the journeys behind the grind. I'm your host, Sean, and I'm excited you are here with us tonight. Happy Sunday, everybody. This podcast is all about perseverance, passion, and the heart it takes to keep moving forward, no matter what life throws your way. If you're chasing a dream, rebuilding your life, growing a business, or just trying to stay motivated, you're in the right place. Tonight, we're joined by a very special guest, Jade, who will be sharing her journey, challenges, and what keeps her motivated to keep pushing forward. Welcome to the show, Jade.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. All right, and how are you doing today?
I'm doing well, thank you. I'm so excited to be here.
Well, I'm excited to have you. So let's go ahead and we'll dive into the questions for you, and we'll see what we can learn from Jade tonight, everybody. Let me The first question I have for you is tell us a little bit about yourself and what led you to Discovery Toys.
That's a great question, and I thank you for asking me that one. Um, a little bit about me is I was born with cerebral palsy and I had a real tough go in school. I was born in the 80s, growing up in the 90s, and that wasn't a lot of people with disabilities weren't in public schools. They were in schools, but they weren't in mainstreamed in the public schools. So as I was growing, I was in a special school. Well, they figured out after I went through a special school that I was really not getting what I needed to get out of the educational system. So they wanted me to be mainstreamed. And once I was mainstreamed into a public school, I was like the trailblazer for that. It was back in the early 90s, so a lot of the schools weren't adapt for people in wheelchairs, which I'm in a wheelchair, so it was a little bit different for me. So after I went through that journey, getting to make new friends and getting everything I could out of the public school system, I went to public high school. I did all that. I graduated with 4.7, oh, 3.7, excuse me, 3.7 GPA. And then I went to college. When I got to college, I was pursuing my psychology degree. I wanted to be a child therapist and family psych and all of that. And I was doing really well. And then I got ill. And when I got ill with another chronic illness, my whole world flipped upside down. I had to leave school with my degree, but I wasn't able to actually use the degree because of the fact of with this illness, nobody was going to hire me to be in an office or anything like that because of the needs that this illness required. So I had to shift my focus, and I was really struggling for a couple of years after that to figure out what I wanted to do because my heart and soul was in psychology and what I was studying, and I didn't know what else I was going to do. Well, one day we found out my brother, who was um, my brother. I actually have several siblings, but my older brother, he was married, and I found out that his wife was going to have a baby, and I was super excited to be an aunt. Well, after the baby was born, I realized I wanted some toys for them to grow. So I found Discovery Toys, and that's how Discovery Toys was made. All of that in that journey led me to Discovery Toys.
Okay, great. So, see, everybody, there's always a reason behind why we join a company. And Jade's is she wanted to have toys that would help in the long run with her nieces, nephews, what have you. So that makes perfect sense why she decided to join Discovery Toys. What was there a defining moment when you realized this was more than just a side venture?
There was. I joined in 2016, and I, started it, like I said, for my nieces and nephews, and I was just going to get them toys. And things happened with them that I realized, okay, they're really benefiting from these toys. And then my sister-in-law hosted a party for me, and it wasn't the traditional in-house party. It was more, you know, on Zoom. I was at her house, but she didn't have people come over, but it was on Zoom and or Facebook. And a lot of the ladies were like, "Oh my gosh, my son can benefit from this. My daughter can benefit from this. I really have to have this. Can you come over and show me? Can you come over and tell me how this works and how it can benefit my child? Can I please see this?" And I realized, from all of that, that I could change, and I use this very loosely, but I could change the world in just a little bit by sharing these toys with everybody around me to help those in need.
Okay, and that is great. I mean, because I know it's not exactly how you planned everything to go, but that is what it is, friends. We all can have a plan. That doesn't mean it's gonna go exactly how we want it to go. Me personally, I had a plan. And most of you don't know yet, and you'll find out later, because there's a surprise later. I won't tell you when, but it's coming, and you'll learn more about me. But this is what I'm saying, friends. When it comes to each individual, we all are our own person. We all have to make decisions that sometimes are not exactly what we wanted. But when we find exactly what we want, we know we want it. And I will tell you this, if you have not seen Jade in a video, she is amazing when it comes to describing the toys, telling you what the toy can do for your child, and therefore. So when she's in shopping events, you can see the toys in action. It's not she's showing you a picture and saying, I hope you can figure out what this does. She actually demonstrates and shows you what it does. So that's super helpful as well.
Thank you. And to your point, Sean, about, everybody having a journey, I agree with that. That the journey did not go as I planned, but you know what? The journey landed me here, landed me with you, and you know what? That's all that we can ask for is the journey just puts us in the right path. We may not know what it is, but it puts us in that path.
Exactly, very true. For listeners who aren't familiar, what makes Discovery Toys different from other toy brands?
That's a good question. What Discovery Toys does, and we've been in business since 1948. Um, and what Discovery Toys is, it's an educational toy company. So all of our toys are not, except for a few, and I know you've probably seen them in videos. If you have not, there are a few that have batteries, but most of them do not, and they have levels of learning to them. So for example, if we're playing with like our stacking cups, yeah, they're stacking cups, but those stacking cups have a clock on them so it can teach kids time, weight, and it teaches them about animals because there's animals at the bottom. So there's different layers to each of the toys and they can do different things. They're not just something you put in front of a child and they just play with. They're learning as they play. So that's what sets us apart. And they're great quality. They are great quality toys.
Yes, and I can attest to that. I have bought my niece and nephew Discovery toys before, and they enjoyed them more than I thought because not all kids like to learn when they play, and
Right.
some of them don't even realize that they're learning while they're playing, so that makes it even
Exactly.
better.
Yes.
So,
Yes. And you know what? As a as an aunt, as a parent, as a guardian, you want those kind of toys, but you know you don't want a toy that they're just gonna throw to the ground in 5 minutes or a day. And I can attest that these toys, kids want to play with them. They want to play with them, and they want to play with them for more than just a little bit. They are long lasting and they are great quality.
Absolutely. And why is educational play so important in today's digital world?
That's a great question, and that is a question that I think I answer a lot when I talk to people about these toys. In today's digital world, yes, digital media is great for kids to consume. I I understand that kids learn on Zoom with, e-learning and things like that, but you also want the kids to get off that and go back to the fundamentals of learning and go back to, the mechanicals of how things work, instead of just always putting them in front of electronics or the TV or anything like that. Kids need to get out and be kids and go back to those fundamentals, because guess what? You're going to need those fundamentals when you go out into the real world. And that's what Discovery Toys does. It gives them the fundamentals that they need to be able to grow and be well rounded human beings.
Thank you for that. What age groups benefit most from these toys and why?
Age group. Well, funny thing, Sean, I honestly say it's from birth to 103, because a lot of our toys are great for memory care facilities, for, you know, grandma and grandpa to sit and play with, you know, for the baby to play with, the baby toys that as they're developing, for older kids to play with to, like we said before, get off the electronics and be well rounded human beings. It's for everybody. It really is.
Yes, and everyone, I can attest to this. I used to work in a nursing facility where I was a certified nurse assistant for about 2 years. And when I first learned about Discovery Toys, wasn't in online events. It was actually when I was working there. They placed a bulk order of a lot of different things. And I'm like, okay, we're in a nursing home. Why are they buying kids' toys? Because that's what I thought. And they're like, these are not kids' toys. These are memory. These are a lot of things that our patients can use to help them remember things and help them have a lot of, because every patient is different. Every patient has a different issue that they're trying to overcome if they can overcome it. But if they can overcome it, at least they have the ability to have activities that they can use and not be bored out of their mind watching a TV all day that they're not even interested in to begin with. So,
Yeah, and you know what? It can bring you back to the fundamentals of interacting with, your mom, your dad, or whoever you may be servicing. And it's even great for those who don't have those issues. It's great for everybody because it keeps your mind sharp. It really does. It really does. These toys can do so much.
absolutely. What, let me see, what did starting your Discovery Toys business look like in the beginning?
In the beginning, it was just for my nieces and nephews, to be honest. And then once, that spark with what we were talking about earlier, once that sparked, it's I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this for, for a few years till, they're not playing with them anymore, and then I'm gonna stop. And I've been with them for 10 years in November, and it doesn't look like I'm stopping anytime soon. And my oldest niece is 13, and she still loves the toys, and it's just I guess my vision was just, on a small scale when I first started, I'm going to help those around me. But then as I was helping those around me and it grew, I just knew that it was going to be something bigger and there was a bigger purpose for it.
Absolutely. And see, friends, that's what I'm talking about. Jade didn't know 10 years ago, and that wasn't part of the plan, that she was going to be with Discovery Toys 10 years from then. So there's a reason for everything. And her first reason was she wanted it for, you said your niece, is that right?
Yes, my niece, and then my I ended up having another niece, and now I have a nephew too. So for them to grow, that was my original plan. Yes.
So that was her original plan, but now 10 years later, they still love them. She joined online events. She's selling her product, the toys to everyone in need of these toys. And they are, I will say this, they're better than the toys that you're going to get from Toys R Us. And that's me. Okay, that's my opinion. Everyone may not agree with it, but they do not. Toys R Us, I bought toys for my nieces and my nephews, and they were super expensive. They were ridiculously expensive, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, $100. They broke them within a week, if not sooner, because they're made of, excuse me how I say this, junk. Okay. It's cheap plastic that does not withhold anything. If you cannot drop a toy on the ground, or cement or anything without it cracking or breaking, that's ridiculous. Come on. We're paying a lot of money for this stuff. So
Yeah, exactly, exactly. And I can attest to, yeah, you're not, and I'm not saying this just because I sell them, but if you go to a Toys R Us or if you go to a Walmart, you're not going to get the customer service that you would if you went through a Discovery Choice consultant. Because the people that I work with, and not only for myself, but the people I work with give such good customer service, and we want you to be happy that we will go to the ends of the earth to make sure that those toys are in your kids' hands and they love them. And they love them. And for many cases, in your mom and dad's hands, I want to make sure that they love them. And that's what you're going to get when you go through a Discovery Toys consultant is the love and the care.
yeah, you're not going to get that at Toys R Us. They're going to ring it up
No,
and give you it in a bag, and they're going to say, have a great day, and you're never going to
no,
see them again.
no,
Jade, she's going to come back to you and follow up with you a month later and say, oh, I see that I know you said it was going to be for your son's birthday, and his birthday was a week ago. How does he like the toys so far? You don't get that kind of customer service at Toys R Us or at
you
any other
don't.
toy store. You just don't. So that's what definitely sets them apart, any small business apart from a big business. Um, what challenges did you face early on and how did you push through them?
Challenges I faced early on was the fact that I kind of was in my own head, if that makes sense. I kind of was like, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if this is going. I don't know if I can do this. Like when I first started, I did not do videos. Did not do videos at all. I didn't do lives. I didn't do videos. I was like, no, I can't do it. Can't do it. And one day I said to myself, I was like, okay, that's a challenge. We gotta overcome that because I want people to see how these work. And I can't explain that in a picture. And so when I started this, I was like, no, 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 we're not doing that. We're never doing that. And now it's there's probably not a week that goes by that I'm not doing a video of something. And if I don't have the product, I'm creating videos with the tools that I have to make those products come to life. So I'm taking the challenge of not wanting or not thinking that I could do lives and not thinking that could connect with people in that way and making it a fun thing. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. And you know what? I met Jade, I want to say it's been about 2 or 3 years.
Yes.
If not longer. I think it's been longer because I met Jade in one of our fellow vendors, shopping venues, and she found out that I run my own shopping events, and she asked if I had ever had a Discovery Toys representative, and I told her no. And she goes, okay, well, can you send me the information and I'll get back with you? And she got back with me within not even 24 hours. And she's been a vendor in my events since then. So it's been, I want to say, at least 4 years.
Yes.
And Jade, like she said, I didn't meet her when she wasn't doing videos, so I could not imagine her not doing videos. Let's just put it that way. So,
Yeah, I mean, if you met me in the beginning, Sean, it was not something I was doing, and I was pretty adamant about that. I'm like, no, no, no. And then once I did it, there's not a vendor event that you don't see a video. You may not see a video with every product or every post, but you will see a video at some point.
oh, absolutely. What
Yes.
has been your biggest win or proudest moment so far?
My biggest win and proudest moment, I would have to tell you, I would have to say, just being my biggest win is when I'm able to help people find the right learning tool. I That is my biggest win. If I can go to bed and say, okay, I helped, even one person figure out how something can help their child grow and develop, that's a win for me. That's a win for me. It's not necessarily about the money. Yes, we all are in this business to make money, but it goes beyond that. It goes beyond the satisfaction of knowing that you shaped a child in maybe a small way, but you helped shape the child and help be a part of their development, and that's a big win for me.
Absolutely, that is a very much a big win. And like I said, and like you said before, it's not because see, I have teachers in my family. My aunt is a teacher, and she said that they're not able to have toys in the classroom. And I said, well, what about Discovery Toys? I said, Discovery Toys is an educational toy. It's not like a Tonka truck or any of those things like that. It's, literally like this has nothing to do with any of those at all. Like they can learn a lot of things from these toys, and she's taught from kindergarten up to fourth grade. So I mean, these toys could really help them in the early development.
Yes,
And
exactly. Yep.
and she asked the school board and they told her no. And I mean, they make the final decision when it comes to that because, of course, she works for a school district.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, for the young children, they need that more than they need, a Tonka truck or, I mean, Legos do help you to an extent, but not, you know, some of these things that they make, a motorcycle and
Yeah,
don't get me wrong,
exactly.
I played with all that stuff when I was young. Of course, I did.
So did I. So that,
I'm sure
yeah,
you had a dollhouse and all these different things, but
yeah.
it's not, those were
It's
not educational things for us,
no,
you
and
know.
no, and the thing is that these toys, or like I like to call them, these learning tools can do so much. I mean, we have a conversational cards that families can use to get kids to open up at the dinner table. Conversations and communication is so important in kids developing and communicating with their children, that I think all families need that, whether it's in the schools or whether it's at home. Everybody needs to communicate, and I think we're losing that in today's digital world, is the communication aspect of it.
We really are. I mean, I have a neighbor that used to live across the street from me. I went to high school with her, and she got to a point with her son, her oldest son. He was in fourth grade before they moved, and he got mad at her because she refused to allow him to play longer on the tablet than 2 hours a day. The first hour was him doing homework, and the second hour was him playing a game if that's what he wanted. But after that, it got put away until the next day. You know,
Yep.
she had flashcards for him for his mathematics and, different things. She goes, read a book. She got him interested in reading books and he loves books now. And it's like you said, the digital world is a great thing once they grow up into that level. But when they're younger, I would say maybe fifth grade and below, they really need to be able to help with their development, they need something that's educational, not here's your laptop or here's your tablet and here go play a game. That's insane. It's like the digital, babysitter.
And I told my brother and my sister-in-law when they had the children, I said I'm not going to tell you how to parent, and I to this day I don't. But I told them when they're with me, I'm going to make sure that they have the educational tools that they need so that they're gonna grow and play and do all that stuff. And yes, they have their tablets once in a while, but they actually prefer these toys over their tablets. Whenever they come over, they don't bring their tablets. They want to play with the toys that I have. And they're always asking me, Auntie, do you have a new toy? Auntie, new toys. They're always looking for new things. And when I don't, they kind of get sad. But whenever I do, I get excited. I'll give them a little preview. I'm like, okay, the next time you come over to Auntie's house, guess what you get to play with? Look at this. And they get excited. And they want to come over and they want to play with me. I mean, they actually want to be in my videos. And there are times where it's like, okay, it's like, no, Auntie's got to do this video today. You can do the next one. And they get excited. They get excited. And
Yeah, and see, that's good.
kids really do need that. They
Oh,
they need a
absolutely.
they need a balance of it. They need a balance of yes, electronics and the digital world, but they need educational toys.
Yeah, see, when I was younger, I did not, I'm thankful I didn't get into video games. I didn't get into any of those things. I got into reading books. I got into learning things that I was not understanding correctly or I wasn't understanding it fully, like math, for instance. I've told you, I don't know how many times in posts and comments that I am terrible, and I still am to this day. I am not great in math. I can do basics, sure. But if you ask me to, do pre-algebra, fractions, all those things, forget it because I am not the one for those. So,
Exactly. I'm not either. And people tease me. They're like, you run a business and you're not good with numbers. No, no, I'm good with the business numbers. But if you throw complex equations at me, it's like you're speaking another language. And those things are important for development.
oh,
It's
absolutely.
important for all of that.
Yeah, I mean, my one nephew, he got mad at me the one day because he came over with his homework and he did it so super quick because, his dad allowed him to bring over his PlayStation, and that was fine. And I told him that once he got done with his homework, that he could, play the game. So he rushed through his homework, and I told him, I said, you are going to answer questions about your homework before you start playing the game,
Yeah.
and they were times tables. He could not answer not one of them correctly on the paper. He could not tell me when he got done any of the answers when I took the paper away from him. And he wanted to play the game. I said, no, you're not playing the game. Here's your eraser. You can do this. If you need help, I will help you. I have flashcards for you, but you're not going to rush through this. And then tomorrow you're going to fail your exam and then you're going to keep going. And the reason why I did that is because I had such a hard time myself in math. And I actually got held back in second grade because of my math scores. So, and I'm not ashamed of that because if I would have been promoted to the next grade, I would have been lost. I would have been very behind everybody else
Yeah.
because I was not at the level I needed to be at. Yes,
Right.
I graduated a year later. So what? I got a high school diploma. I have a college degree, but math was not my strong suit.
Yeah.
So
No.
I was better to be held back and be able to get the, the extra practice that I needed versus not, and then be in a big bag of worms when I'm trying to learn fractions and above that because I wasn't even comprehending and getting everything that I was supposed to be getting from the other math because I couldn't pass it. And it wasn't that I didn't know what I was doing. I could get the right answer, but I couldn't tell them how. I could
Yeah.
not show the work of how I got it. And we weren't allowed to have calculators, so it wasn't by a calculator. So I was able to figure it out in my head, but I wasn't able to write it on paper how I was doing it.
You weren't able to do the step by step.
Right, exactly. I learned how to do it, the second time around, but they gave me more attention because I could not get it,
Yeah.
so
Do you remember, Sean? And I don't know the exact thing, and if somebody knows it, please tell us. But those cartoons they used to do with the times tables, those songs that they used to play for us. I want to say it was Fraggle Rock, but I could be wrong. But those little cartoons they used to put on the TV or used to show us in school. Those was how I learned my times tables. Was from those songs and
well,
learning all
see,
that.
yeah, those songs were not really around when I was growing up. I was born in the late 80s.
Okay.
And so I mean we had Sesame Street and we had, like the reruns and we
Yeah.
had, Cookie Monster and
Yeah.
we had the Smurfs and the Jetsons and the Flintstones and I'm trying to remember the other show. There was a show that it was similar to like Blue's Clues, but
Yeah.
um it did. It gave you like the songs to sing so you could learn them, but I can't pinpoint the name of it, but I know what you're referring to. And
Yeah.
you probably seen them, before I did. I probably seen the reruns of them because I was born in the late 80s and I believe that you said you were born in the 70s, didn't you say?
No, I was born in 1986.
Oh, well, we're not that far apart. Okay, never mind. I'm sorry,
No,
Jade.
no, you know what? You know what I learned? No, you're fine. You know where I learned them from? Because my brothers and my older brother and my older sister, they had them, and then my mom would just pass them down. So that's how I learned.
Oh, okay. Well, that's
Yeah.
good. Well,
Yeah.
see, we're only a year apart. So we're not that
Okay.
far apart in age because I'll be 39 this year in May. So,
Awesome. Yeah.
all right. How do you balance running a business with everyday life responsibilities?
That is a good question. And I'm going to be totally honest for the listeners. It's still a work in progress. It's still a work in progress. I'm doing better now than I was in the beginning because I'm learning to let go of, okay, I spent time today doing this. I need to step away. I need to take a break. I need to breathe. And I don't need to get to everything at once. Because for me, when I first started doing online events, and I still do this today, I feel like I have to get to everybody immediately. Because if I don't get to everybody immediately, then they're going to lose interest. But for me doing that, then I was running myself ragged and I wasn't leaving time for me to even eat. Sometimes I would forget because I would just be so in the zone of getting to what I needed to get done that I'd look at the clock and be like, oh my gosh, it's 7 o'clock at night and I still haven't eaten, because I was just so focused. So balancing, okay, of doing what I need to do for business and keeping it afloat and being there for my family, I'm starting to find that balance in a better way. I'm starting to do better time management by saying it's okay and giving myself grace and saying it's okay. You know, I need to, step away for a second, take a breath, and then come back to it. And I think doing that more and more gives me a better clarity to help people even more. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. It does. And that's very true, everybody. What Jade is saying, we all need to give ourselves grace. We don't have to, excuse me, when we're posting on our timelines, we're posting in our VIP groups, when we are in a shopping venue and we are sharing our products with you, I know I've talked to many customers about this. They don't expect us to be right away as soon as the post goes up to have a comment on it within the first 5 minutes. It's okay for us to take a 2-hour break once we've posted our first post of the day and we have done our commenting prior to doing that. And it's okay for us to go and eat and go and clean or go and do something that we have on our to-do list. We are human beings. We are not robots. You know, we have to live our life just like our customers do. And don't get me wrong, what Jade is saying is exactly what I started with when I first started on my first online business 19 years ago. Um, it was something that, oh my goodness, I have to hurry up. They're going to lose interest. Or I knew nothing about online business. I knew nothing. I went in blind. I followed what they told me to do. That wasn't working. So I found something else on Google that was helping me some, but wasn't helping me tremendously. So I got training, and the training helped me learn you don't have to be on the computer or on your phone or on your tablet every second of every day that you're in this event. You don't have to. Your customers are not. Your customers have kids, they have jobs, just like you're doing. This is your job. You have a life just like they do. So they may not get back to your comment for 24 hours. That doesn't mean that they lost interest. That just means that they have a busy life just like we do.
Exactly. And you want to always be present for your customers and tell them, I'm always here for you, because I don't know if you notice this, Sean, on all of my posts, if not all of them, but most of them, I always put, you can always message me. I'm always here for you. But they also know that I'm human, and it's okay to give yourself grace. And it's okay to always sometimes, push yourself, because sometimes I'll be honest with you, there are days where there is no motivation and you have to get motivated. And seeing those comments gets you motivated. So then you go in there, you do the commenting, and then you take a break. So it can help you both ways.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, don't get me wrong. We all have those days. I have
Yes,
those days. I run events and I have those days. It happens.
exactly.
We're human. You
Yep.
know, like I said before, we're human. We're not robots. We're not aliens. We're humans, and we can make mistakes and we can mistake something. I had one embarrassment years ago when something was super, amazing that my company was selling, and they had plenty of it. So I advertised it in different groups that I was in, like different garage sale groups, and everyone was excited. But by the time they got to it, it was sold out. So they were all disappointed and they didn't do a second chance on it. So I had 30 to 100 people that weren't happy that they couldn't get that amazing product that they were all looking forward to because they were all working and they couldn't step away to order it before it sold out. So that's the thing. We all have a life. We can all make mistakes. We all learn from our mistakes. Now, I advertise where I know that people are going to see it, and people that are going to be understanding that things can sell out. They can. And it's
Exactly.
okay. There's nothing we can do about it. We
Nope.
have no control over it. We have a website that you can go to and shop on, but we don't have the ability to know how much stock is available in back office that shows us, hey, you have 100 of these left. That would be amazing. Trust me, I wish every business did that because it would
Oh
make our
yeah.
life a lot easier,
Mm-hmm.
but
It would.
that's not reality.
And
So
you know, and you know what, Sean? I just recently did this, and you'll hear it here first. I started keeping the bloopers from my videos, and I posted a couple in my VIP community, and I think those were more receptive than the actual videos that I posted, and it was because it made me look human. It
yeah,
made me look human, and it showed people that, hey, this is a person. This is not a robot, and she can make mistakes. Now,
absolutely.
will I be advertising it to the entire world? No. But I put those out there because I thought, okay, let me just see what people are going to think about these, and they loved it, and they were asking me, can you put more bloopers, can you put more bloopers? And I don't intentionally make bloopers, But if they happen, I keep them now because every once in a while we just need to either look at them and tell ourselves we're still human, or share them with people if you're comfortable with that and they are receptive to the fact that you're human and you're not a robot. Then,
Absolutely,
yeah,
most definitely. Do you have, oh yeah, actually, hold on. I don't want to skip it. How have you seen these toys impact children and families?
that's a great question. I have seen so much. The impact that these toys make on families. I have customers that come back to me and say, you know what? I I I bought these toys for my kids from when it was 30 years ago when they first started, and I still have this today. And I'm coming to you because you know what? You helped me a year ago, and my granddaughter loved it. And I pulled out the toys that I had for my kids, and they love it. So please, what other suggestions you have? And honestly, I I like the fact that they put age proximities on these toys, but I always tell people it's not about the age on the box. It's about what your child can do and where your child's skill set is. That how it can help your child. So I've seen this impact families in so many ways because it helps just not only them develop but then bring them together and just watch them grow, if that makes any sense.
Yes, absolutely. It makes perfect sense. Um, I mean, watching a child grow, and know that you had a part in it, it's really special.
It is.
It's very
And,
much so very special.
and that's why I continue to do what I do, is because I know that there will not be a day that a child doesn't need to be impacted. And you know what? I even do what I can for those children that are unable, that may not have the opportunity to get these toys for whatever reason. I try to reach out to them too because every child, every family needs tools for their children to grow. It's so important. So important.
Absolutely. It very is very important. Do you have a customer story that really touched your heart?
Oh, so many. But I do have one that I tell every time I talk about this product. So we have the Crazy Climb. I know you've seen it many times, probably Sean, and I know you love that one. But it's a card track for those that don't know. It helps with learning about mechanical skills and construction skills, and kids can configure in so many ways and watch the car go around the track. And a lady had asked me, "Can I, do you think it would be a good Christmas tree skirt?" And this was the first time I was ever asked that. I'm like, you know what? I've never heard of it used that way, but you can use it as a Christmas tree skirt. That's awesome. So she got it for Christmas. She put it around her Christmas tree. She intertwined it with the branches and did all that. And she um told me her grandson loved it. But then in May, after I did my follow up a month later, she contacted me in May and she said, "Jade, it's May." And I said, "Yeah." And she goes, "I can't take the Christmas tree down." And I said, "Well, why not?" And she goes, "Because my grandson was so sad. He thought the track would have to go away with the Christmas tree. He didn't realize that he could play with the track without the tree." So when she finally got him to understand that, he was more okay with her taking the tree down.
Wow, and look at that, friends. We don't know the impact that something is going to have on an individual until we hear stories like this. Who would think that a child would say, "Oh my goodness, you can't take the tree down because that means the track has to go with it." It's like, "No, you don't do that. You leave it." You know? It's like it's May and the Christmas tree is still up. Yeah, that's not normal. So,
Yeah, and well, I mean, she did take it down, but she said at the end of the phone call, she's like, at this point, I should just keep it up. I'm like, yeah, maybe you should just decorate it for all the holidays. And so it's those types of stories that just warm my heart. There's so many, so many. And
Absolutely. I mean, and that is very heartwarming to hear something like that, and that he was going to be really upset that she was going to take that tree down because that track was going to have to go with it. So,
exactly, exactly. And then she came back the year after that and got another set to make it even bigger because she got a bigger tree and the one track wasn't big enough to go around the bigger tree. So she got another track. I was like, okay. So she uses it every year as her Christmas tree skirt every year.
oh
Oh,
wow.
every year.
That's great. What advice would you give to someone thinking about starting a direct sales or home-based business?
Do it. Do it because you don't know what's ahead. And don't be afraid of the I know it's scary and I know you're probably like, "Oh my God, I'm afraid of the unknown." I was too. The unknown is the best part because you don't know what that business can do for you, not only for your family and financially, but for you as a person. It changes so much. So do it. Take that leap of faith and I'll tell you you're not going to regret it.
Absolutely. And I'm going to piggyback off of what Jade said. 19 years ago, or actually, I want to say about 20, 21 years ago, I would have never thought that I would be where I am today. And when I was younger, I didn't think about becoming, a direct seller, having my own small business or anything like that. That wasn't part of what I thought about when I was younger. It came about when, excuse me, when I got a Facebook, or even before that, I want to say MySpace, and I'm really aging myself now, right?
Well, I had one too. I had one too. That was that was
So that was when I learned that was when I learned about different companies that you could join and different things like that. And I didn't dive in right away. It took about maybe a couple months. And I watched a few people and I wanted to see what I was most interested in. And then I went ahead and joined. And it wasn't super easy at first, so I'm not going to lie to anybody and say it was because it's not.
it's not.
But like Jade said, do it scared because everyone's afraid of the unknown. Everyone. I mean, it's normal human being for you to be scared of something you've never done before.
It's
And that's
normal.
okay.
Yeah,
It's normal.
it's
It
normal.
is. It's definitely
But
normal.
if I feel that if you don't do it and you people are probably going to think that I'm kind of strange when I say it this way, but if you go into it prepared, I don't think you're going to necessarily enjoy it as much as going into it being a little unknown because it's the unknown that makes it interesting, keeps you wanting to go back for more because you know what the impact of what you can do, whether you sell the toys or whatever you decide to do, whether you make your own stuff, do it because you never know what it can do for you. And it's one of
That
those things where if you don't try, you don't know.
absolutely very true. Let me see what we have here. What habits or mindset shifts have helped you succeed?
Honestly, on my chefs, honestly, I'm gonna say the fact that I don't have to do it on my own, and I don't have to be perfect at it. And I have, I have a plan. I know what I'm going to do and I know what I'm going to post and I know how I'm going to, you know, shift everything for an event, let's just say. But I've, I've learned through the years that you don't have to be perfect. You don't have to know everything going in. And not every post or not every video do you have to put everything about the product in one video. Leave some mystery because that adds more conversation, more connection, and it's about connection. It's about connecting with people and getting to know people on a deeper level. And it's just one of those things where you just have to do it. Just have to do it.
Absolutely, and I completely agree. Just because you are scared doesn't mean you can't succeed. We all learn as we go, especially if we have no clue, like I didn't.
I I
It
had
took
no
me
clue.
time. So you have two
Yeah.
of us, me and Jade both, that had no absolutely no clue what we were doing when we started. And look where we are now.
Mm.
I'm 19 years in, she's 10 years in. You know, um, there you have it. Do it scared. And if you have questions, reach out to
Reach
other direct
reach out
sellers.
reach out for help, and you know what? Know that you're not alone, and know that you are enough, and what you do is enough, and people are going to appreciate you. And go into events, go into whatever events, whether it's online or in person, and go into it wanting connection. Because if you go into it with that in mind, you'll come out of it like you've won the Heisman Trophy, because you get so much value. You give value, but you get so much back. You really
Absolutely. And I
do.
have to I have to piggyback off of that. I've been running events for 5 years. I've been participating in them for a lot longer than that. And um the key is to a small business is that you give more than you take from most. But in the same instance, look at all the friends. Look at all the friends that turn into family members of ours. And they're not our true family, but they've been with us that long that that's exactly what they feel like. They feel like that they are our second family. And that's
Ex-
amazing. It's an amazing
Exactly.
feeling.
You're
It's
you're
an
stuck with me.
Yeah, it's exactly, exactly. It's like you're stuck with me. Yeah, I mean, that's what it is. We become a family and it's an amazing feeling. And we all want each other to succeed. We all want each other, the best what's for each other versus the opposite when we were running in scared and had no idea what we were doing.
It's the fact that we're all in the same boat. We all want similar outcomes, so we become everybody's champion. You know, Rome and Noah's Ark wasn't built by one person, and it wasn't built in a day, and neither are these businesses. You're not going to wake up tomorrow and be like a millionaire from one night. It takes time, and it takes effort, and it takes a community to make your business work. It really does. It's not a
Well,
one person show.
it's
It's not.
not. It is not. I completely agree with you on that. What does hustle and heart mean to you personally?
Hustle and heart. It means that you get you that's a good question. It means to me that you give from your heart. So you want to do this hustle, you want to make money, but you also want to sit back and say, okay, what value can I give? Because honestly, if you can sit there and say, I can give you value, I can help you by solving this problem, by doing this, that to me means the world, and that gives you the heart. Yes, it's the hustle, but that gives you a heart, because you can turn around and say, I gave that value. I gave it 100%. I gave what I knew could help that person. And it just means the world.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I appreciate your stance on that. What keeps you passionate about what you do?
Honestly, the smiles, the happiness, the stories, the reviews, the people wanting to see these toys, people wanting to learn how it can help develop. That's what keeps me coming back. Like I said before, it's not, yes, I mean it, yes, it's my business to make money, but that's not why I do what I do. I do it because I know that people are going to get value, and I'm going to help them in so many different ways.
That is amazing. And the thing is, I can piggyback off of what Jade said. I've been doing the same business for almost 5 years. It'll be 5 years in August. And it's my main business, and I do it because my heart is there. That's where my heart is. I absolutely love it. I love everything about it. And I think of different ways that I can present it to provide value and show someone this can solve this problem for you if you want that. And that means a lot to me. I put a lot of, time and energy, but you know what? It pays off in the end. So
It
that's what matters most is when it pays off.
it does because you bring those people will come back to you. They may not buy from you right then and there, but they will come back to you and say, "Okay, I've seen this in Sean's event. I've seen you in here. I'm ready for that. Do you have that product for me? Or do you have something else that can help me with X?" They will come back to you. If you can give them value and give them heart and care about them and show that you care, they will come back to you. I guarantee you.
Yes, absolutely. They definitely will. Where do you see your business growing in the next few years?
I hope to be at the top tier of my company. I've come close a couple times. I have not got there yet, but I'm hoping to be there. And once I'm there, just keeping and maintaining and just helping kids grow, helping families grow, helping anybody that needs help any way that I can. And I'm hoping that I can add more and more children to the list of children that I've helped.
That is amazing. I love that. And you know what? We all want that for you, Jade. And I know you're going to get there. It just takes us all time to get where we want to go.
It is, and you know what? Like I said, you got to give yourself grace, and that's what I've done with myself. And I'll get there. I will get there for sure.
Absolutely. You're a determined person, and I know that you will do it. I know that personally myself. I've known Jade, like I said, long enough to know that she's a determined person and she doesn't give up easily. And that's another thing too, friends. I do this podcast because I want us to be able to learn from each other and you to be able to take all that you can from my podcast. I bring these business owners on here because they have experience. You may be scared, you know, and not know what's going on, and something that one of us say could just spark exactly what you needed to go and join a business. It could be one of our businesses. We don't know, but we are going to welcome you with open arms and we are going to help you and do everything we can to help you become successful. Now, I don't want anyone to take this the wrong way. We cannot do the work for you. You have to want to do the work. We can guide you, but you have to want to put the work and the effort into it.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm here to help you get the tools, but I honestly, and I tell this to everybody, I cannot do the work for you because honestly, I have to do my business as well, but I will be here to give you the tools and I will give you guidance and I will be your biggest cheerleader. You just got to give me a chance to
Absolutely.
do that. And to do that, you have to jump in and be all in.
Absolutely. And that's the biggest thing. When you choose to join a small business, you have to know that your heart is going to be in it 100%. Because within the first month, like I mentioned in my introduction to my podcast, if you're not all in it to win it, if you have not signed into your back office, but that one time that you signed up for the company that you're working for, it definitely was not meant to be. It just wasn't. Um,
Exactly.
and it just wasn't. It wasn't 100%. You weren't all in. And you can find what you're 100% all in about. What makes you most excited? What makes you most interested? Investigate the companies before you just jump in. You know,
Right.
um,
And ask questions. Ask questions.
yes,
Because if you don't ask questions, we don't know how to help you. And I know a bunch of direct sales business ladies and gentlemen. We are here to help you. But if you don't ask questions, we don't know how to guide you. So ask the questions. And honestly, no question is a silly question. Just ask because you don't know what doors it can open for you.
Absolutely. That is so very true. And lastly, how can listeners support you or learn more about Discovery Toys? Now, everybody, I want to tell you this. I will provide her website on the bottom of our podcast only because of the fact that it's long and I don't want you guys to misinterpret anything that I say and can't catch it before the end. So I will make sure I put that in the podcast summary so that way you all can take and look at that. And if you're interested, you can definitely go forward from that. You can reach Jade. She is on Facebook. Jade, is your profile public?
Yes, it is public. You just have to look for Jade, and then my last name is Callie. Cali, and
Okay,
it's
and then go ahead.
yeah, it's public, so you can just friend request me from there, and then I can always help you as well.
Absolutely. And then she does have a VIP group, and she can, of course, pass it along at that point in time as well. I believe it's JD's Toy Box. Is that right?
Yes, yes. That name was actually just developed a couple months ago. My dad would always call me JD. He'd call me JD for years and he used to hate it. But whenever we're in person events, he'll say, "This is JD the toy lady." And I'm like, okay. At first I was like, I don't know. I don't know if I like that. I'm like, I don't like that, Dad. Don't call me that. But it grew on me. And that's how JD's toy box was born.
Oh, that's amazing. That is truly amazing. And see, friends, we get nicknames, we get all kinds of things, and it's not always what we're called. It's if you're going to remember us in the end. And when you remember us, it means the more than you could ever know to us. So
Ex-
that
ex-
definitely makes a huge difference to all of us.
It does. It does.
All right, everybody. So I want to thank Jade for being my special guest this week on my podcast.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're very welcome. And I'm going to go ahead and close out our show. And we will see you all next Sunday. And we will be doing a live discussion. Every Sunday we are here except for holidays at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And to everyone listening, remember your path may not be easy, your progress may feel slow, but your hustle and your heart will carry you through. Keep pushing, keep believing, keep showing up. That is the most important thing. And there is no hustle without heart. So I will leave you all with that. And you will hear from us next Sunday. And I hope you all have a great week ahead. And I am signing off. I hope you all have a great one.